boy, we made it. That's right, it's Tavern Talk. You're listening to the Valley of Spirits, and it's just Jordan here with you today. Nick had a little bit of a business trip he had to take care of. You know, he's a businessman doing business things, and so you have me. So I'm here at the Tavern Talk. The three things I'm going to talk about in this Tavern Talk is how the Catalyst kind of rubs me the wrong way without there being a PvP vault now. Plunderstorm coming back and more of my thoughts on that. And then I'm also going to read some comments from the Brutosaur video that are some pretty cool takes, and I kind of want to talk about how I feel about them. Nick and I will go over them once he gets back this week, and maybe we'll touch on a couple of these a little more next week too, if it was more of a question for Nick, for example. So starting with the Catalyst and PvE and PvP. What I mean when I say the Catalyst is the machine that you go to turn your non-set piece item into a piece from the set. And in Season 1 of The War Within, you get one of these Catalyst charges every other week to turn one of your set pieces into, or turn one of your, non-set pieces into a set piece, essentially for free every week, which is really exciting. I love the idea, Blizzard. That's not what I'm getting at. I don't like how, since you got rid of the PvP vault section, it's one of the only ways you can get PvP set pieces is from buying a Conquest version of the piece and then converting it in the Catalyst. And so I have to sacrifice some of my PvE progression and gear progression to turn a PvP set into it. And I thought the vault was a good little middle, here's a couple of pieces of trash for you every week. Maybe it'll be a set piece. Like, I thought at least that was nice, a decent shot, because when I played enough PvP for the week, I got to get one of these pieces for free, which was exciting. And I thought that was cool, rewarding me for playing your PvP. So I just kind of wish they would separate. Maybe, I don't know about having two catalysts or separate catalyst charges or what it would be. Because I understand the problem of making it a straight up separate catalyst charge is then you'll have guys in the first week that are doing one PvP and one PvE piece to be the first guy in the world that has the two set. But I think that's worth it. Like, if you want to be that sweaty and gross and play PvP and PvP and you want an inch more than somebody for a week, then sure, I think it's fine. I guess let me know in the comments down below. That's a little bit more controversial because that could screw with the gearing and how often people get set pieces. And if people want to run these PvP versions of this set just so they can complete it faster. And actually, I guess now that I sit down and think about it, that would probably be a big part of the problem is now they would expect you to play some PvP, you and your PvE guild. They would expect you to do some PvP so that way you can get your set piece faster, your set bonus faster. So I guess maybe that's not the perfect way, but if you do think there's a better way to handle set pieces in PvP, definitely let me know down below. I want to have a bit more discussion. I just wanted to talk about how I don't think this is the perfect way. I don't like having to choose my catalyst charges, which predominantly throughout history, I would have always chosen them to be PvE based and make it faster towards my player versus environment set. But I've been playing a lot of PvP lately. And so I kind of want to, I don't know, I guess you can't have the best of both worlds, right? No Hannah Montana or whatever, but it would be cool if there was a bit more flexibility in the PvP gearing system. So the next topic is Plunderstorm coming back. Man, PvP topics coming out in our Tavern Talk section. That's what happens when Nick lets me off the hook, right? When he's not here to bat me with the stick back into PvE territory. I go wild. I just play some PvP. But we do have Plunderstorm coming back, which is really exciting. I'm excited for this. I wonder what new abilities there's going to be. I wonder how many they're going to be. I had so much fun just dropping in and having a chance to get some of the best abilities. And the truth of it was, there were some, I would say, strong or meta abilities for sure. There were some that were easier to use than others too. But it was predominantly, they got the risk versus reward of most of the items pretty good. Doing the... having a really narrow laser do a ton of damage, for example, as compared to just having a fire swirl around you and run around. Obviously, they didn't drop all the monumental grounds they made in the engine in order to do this, so they can set this up quickly again. I wish they would keep, changing the theme, but it seems like easy mode to just reskin everything and re-release Plunderstorm with maybe a couple of new abilities, Blizzard, I hope. So I think it's really cool. I missed it. Like my other favorite game, you can shame me all you want in the comments down below, but my second favorite game in the world is Fortnite, actually. And I don't play to win in Fortnite, for example. I play to not be bored. So I'm going to find people. I'm going to loot a couple of things and be like, all right, people who play with me. I'll be like, all right, I'm bored. Let's go somewhere else. Let's find somebody. and you hear some bullets in the distance, so then I run towards them, right? So in Plunderstorm, I had a little bit of a both approach. I tried to win a couple of times, which I ended up getting 11 wins total. And then after that, I went back to my primal ways and just started trying to engage with people the entire time, which is actually kind of... that's why I liked Plunderstorm, is there is a bit of reward for going out to the smaller places and collecting all the loot and all the experience and all the stuff by yourself to come into a group at, level 8, 9. But if a bunch of powerhouses kill each other, it gets pretty crazy pretty fast. So, like, if you have the one guy that cleared all of one town and you have the guy next town over cleared all that, and then they meet, that's an enormous amount of combined power. So I think they could make a little bit of balancing there. The level system, I don't know, right? I think it was too important, the level system. I don't know if they can get rid of it, because it's part of what makes, Plunderstorm a bit more unique than just some arena battle royale. I'm pretty excited. I want to see what they do, what they change, what they add. Let me know if you are excited for the new Void version of if you're excited for any of the reskins or any of the mods that are coming out. So definitely take a look. We'll have a link in the description if you want to check those out. And on to some comments we got on the Brutosaur episode. So we'll start with Butterfly Eyes. First time finding this channel, very entertaining. Just wanted to share my opinion on the Brutosaur mount. Thank you so much, Butterfly Eyes. You're definitely welcome in our comment section. Personally, it was my favorite dinosaur, and I'm just sad the only ways to get it is through having millions of gold from buying it back in BFA, or if you just buy WoW tokens to convert it into Battle.net currency. Guess I have to save millions if they ever bring another one, since it turns out there is never going to be an achievement/rare to get Brutosaur to ride. Side note, I'm the player that rarely sees 100k gold. The last time I saw that was years ago. So, yeah, you're definitely not gold farming. So I would say, swipe for the 90 or don't, right? Like, I think it's a pain in the butt to buy all the WoW tokens and get it in your Battle.net, and that's silly. And just swipe for it for 90 if you want it, right? It's interesting that this is a bit of a deflate, because you can turn a bunch of gold into the Brutosaur mount, which, in a way, is kind of nice. That's one of the ways they can gold sink the game. They're trying to two birds with one stone here, is they're trying to deflate the game some, so that way we stop inflating the heck out of it. And then they make a way to just swipe your card for it if you really just want it. So I think it's too expensive. For me, I'm not buying it. And I do some auction house work. Nick does way more auction house work than I do. And I'm not buying it, and he's not buying it. So if that is important to you, being able to auction house like in the middle of raids or whatever, then go ahead. Go and swipe. But it's not worth $90 to me. It's not worth the, 1.5 to 2.5 million gold it is. Let's move into Allurin 93. I think the problem with this mount is that it is more than cosmetic, and there is no equivalent available in-game. Either of these two things need to be fixed for it to be acceptable. Another sour point was that Blizzard specifically stated that the Brutosaur was being retired for prestige. How prestigious that a better one can be bought from the shop. I agree with you completely in a lot of ways here. They do need to add a in-game one. Like, you could make it not look as cool, or make it smaller, or like it's a bear with an auctioneer and a mailbox on him. But you should be able to do some crazy, and you can make us jump through some heckin' hoops if you want. Like, you can make this one of the Raider event challenges or something. You could make it an in-game really tough to get achievement. Tie it behind Lore Master of Everything or something. Who knows? And yeah, it's not very prestigious. I agree with you. It doesn't, when you walk up and see a Brutosaur, you don't see, oh man, that guy was really dedicated. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not going to say what I am saying, but that's not what I'm saying when I see a guy right outside the auction house using the mount, right? So it's kind of silly. I agree with you completely. Thank you for commenting. You're definitely welcome in our comment section. So from Black X Entrepreneur, I think you're wrong on the I don't care, it doesn't change the game. It does, as the coolest rewards are from the store instead of the game itself, and they might remove more stuff to add it to the store. At this moment, it will affect your gameplay, but it will be too late to complain because you let it happen this far. Also, unfortunately, this kind of monetization don't go to the staff working on WoW, but go to the shareholders and C-suite staff, which he's right. Definitely, I know that a lot of this is just going to line Wall Street's pockets, I understand. But it is showing that WoW's profitable, so it might get some investment from these guys, right? That's the dream of Wall Street, right? But I'm kind of scared of that, because they literally are doing what you're saying. They are removing the ability to get something within the game and then putting it behind a swipe your card wall, which is kind of scary. You know, I don't want them to take away, like, the Pandaria mount, for example, and then have a $25 repair mount in the store. Like, that sounds horrible. So I get where you're coming from. I actually agree with you, too. But I also want Blizzard to get their bag, right? Like, if people are going to buy it, it's what we want, right? Allegedly. Just look how many people bought it or swiped on it or had the gold for it, you know, whatever, right? So people are a big fan of it. It'll blow over, too. That's why it's a temporary thing, you know, because it's just silly. And even the fact that it's temporary is even crazier. Like, imagine, you know, I'm not in a super fortunate position, and I can't buy it this month, but next month when I get my check, I'll be able to, right? But it sucks because it's temporary. I'm not super impressed with that. That's the part that stinks. If you really should own if you're going to release something like this, and then just put it, you know, black and white. Everybody knows Blizzard has the auction house mount, is their $90 mount, and that's how they make money. You don't have to buy it to play the game, right? You just have to buy the game and the sub. It's already, and then a $90 mount on top of it, right? You don't have to get it. Oh. We have one more comment here. This comes from Kenneth Yates, 1725. A store does not ruin a game. A bad game is always ruined by being a bad game. This is coming from someone who hates the store. A lot of the core stuff to modern WoW is fun, but Mythics plus not giving rewards and Blizzard giving you a checklist of chores ruins much of the fun. So I agree with the first half of your statement. A store does not ruin a game. If it helps fund the playability or the functionality of the game, right? Like even something with a more toxic store like a Valorant or a League of Legends, for example. This gameplay that a lot of people like gets funded by this store. So there is a way to do it, right? I don't think anybody right now really is. Blizzard's probably the closest to doing this sort of thing, right? But we bought the game and pay a sub. And so the core stuff about Blizzard is the whole reason why they put cool mounts behind barriers and things like that is not only to make you feel like you're beating your head against the wall, but it makes it relatively exclusive. And it makes it, you know, a harder challenge. Does it make you do things you don't want to do? Yeah, you don't have to. You can just do your mythics that you want to do, or you can go get your buddies together and do heroics, or you can go do the raid in LFR, and nobody's telling you you have to go get them out in order to play the game, right? But there needs to be some exclusivity to it, because earning it would mean if all you have to do is log in and click accept all the time, everybody has all the mounts. That's not cool either, right? So there has to be, and I don't know how I feel about the 0.1%, like the top tippy top of the rewards, like being in the top 0.1% of PvP or in dungeon rating. Like, I'm not super, like, you're going to make a mount for, what, less than 1% of your community? I'm not a big fan of that. I do get, like, mythic mounts and things like that, which is roughly, like, 1 to 2% of everybody who logs on every month is going to do that. And I think that's at least a little better. And then you can really show off that you're an elite player, but this 0.1% crap, I think's got to go. It's got to be a little bit more lenient than that. So you guys got me off the rails a little bit here in the Tavern Talk. Great comments. I appreciate it. We do have some exciting changes and surprises coming up for you in the future, so definitely stay posted. I don't know what I can talk about. I don't have Nick here to correct me on what I can and can't say, so I can't tease anything. But we will be back next week, and Nick will be with you again. Don't worry. It'll be a little bit more organized, a little less me. But thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of the Valley of Spirits. We're your hosts. Jordan and Nick will be back next week. He'll be back. Your go-to Horde players. Join us in Dornegal on the Mal'Ganis server and look up our guild, the Electric Boogaloo, for some epic adventures. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or X as it's known these days, by searching for the Valley of Spirits podcast. Don't miss an episode and follow us on Spotify or anywhere you find your podcasts. Check out our YouTube for additional content not found on our podcast platforms. Until next time, may your quest be glorious and your loot be plentiful. And as always, for the Horde.